Welcome to Show Me Something Wrong,
where each episode one of us chooses a movie to watch that the other hasn't seen. The movie is often obscure, usually odd, and always wrong.
I'm Dave.
I'm Guy, and today I've chosen the movie, and it is The Worm Eaters from 1977, and it is written, directed, and starring Herb Robbins.
So it's been no one else will notice this because these will just come out every 2 weeks.
Because we're so efficient.
Yeah, because we recorded about 100 episodes before we actually started posting them.
Yep, 6, yep.
That's about 100. But it's actually been a long time since we've recorded one.
It's been over 2 months or so.
So if this episode sounds particularly shitter than usual,
I think it's going to be our grand comeback. Yeah. And what a great movie to do.
Yeah. So you've just been back home. I've been back home.
That's right. It was lovely. It was fantastic to be back in the good old land of England.
You looked so depressed as you said that.
Fog lamps, some rain. It was actually lovely. The weather was good.
Nice.
Good food. Yeah, good.
So you're still quite jet lagged.
I'm very jet lagged. It's probably worth mentioning that. I watched this in two halves, both at about 3-4 o'clock in the morning.
Sure.
Completely jet lagged. I woke up at like 2 a.m. every night since getting back, which was a few days ago. And I'm just like, well, what do I do? I'll watch The Worm Eaters. That sounds like a good idea.
To be honest, that's probably the best time to watch it, 3 or 4 in the morning, while you're feeling really fucked up.
Probably. Yeah, if it's not the kind of film that you just like put on after work. That was a hard day at work, and I put on The Worm Eaters. And
well, that's exactly how I watched it. And honestly, I'm not jet lagged from coming back from Australia, because the time's basically the same. But I felt like I was fucking jet lagged watching this fucking movie. And I've been holding back from saying this, but fuck you for choosing this movie. I feel like I have both a lot to say about this movie and absolutely nothing to say about this movie.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds pretty on point. So you enjoyed it?
Look, if I wanted to torture one of my normal friends that doesn't like weird movies, this is what I would put on.
Right.
Because it is from the get-go fucked beyond belief. It is genuinely one of the strangest movies I've seen.
Yeah.
It feels like a kind of something you'd get in a bargain bin, something weird video label bargain bin, but much weirder, much worse.
Yeah, I know exactly. I was watching it, and I kind of got almost trauma vibes from it, but pre-trauma in a way. It's from 1977, which is kind of mad that this was made so early on.
I know what you mean, but it's beyond that as well. It almost feels like I know we tend to say this a lot, but I feel like it almost feels like it's someone's weird fetish, especially that it's the as you said, the director, writer, and star is the same guy, and we'll get into it later. But he's the main guy putting worms in his mouth as well.
Yeah, he loves it.
I was really interested to know how. I've never heard of this movie until you mentioned it. I thought I had, but looking when I watched it, I'm like, no, there's no way I'd heard of this before. I was getting it mixed up with something else. But how did you come across this film?
Honestly, I don't even remember. I saw it years and years and years ago, and I remember hearing the title and thinking, The Worm Eaters. Wow, that's a movie. There's actually a movie about people eating worms, because that's all it could ever be. It's not it's not going to be an ironic title. It's just so in your face.
I don't know why, but I assumed I don't know. I have no idea why, but I did not think it was going to be this. I thought it was going to be a zombie kind of thing. I looked up nothing about it. But then when I saw the poster, I was like, wait, what the fuck is this? Because it has the most rotten poster. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's great.
So this cartoon kind of image.
It's very what's that Garbage Pail Kids style.
Yeah, it totally has that vibe. So that made me quite nervous once I realized it was going to be a comedy, because I feel like there's nothing worse than a fucking shitty comedy.
Yeah, I don't remember how I heard about this originally, but I remember hearing about it, watching it long time ago. And I think just because I did hear about it so early on, I thought it was relatively well known. And I thought like it was probably one of the more well known films out of the films that we're covering on this podcast. But actually, in hindsight, thinking about it, it doesn't really come up a lot in lists, and people don't really talk about it.
I don't even think it has a Wikipedia page.
You know what? I looked it up. It has one in Japanese, but not one in English.
That's weird.
And the Japanese title, this is just a little bit of tidbit information for you. The Japanese title is Worm Burgers.
Right, okay. Because, I posted something about it on Twitter, and I noticed a lot of Japanese followers, like, reacted to it, and someone had made that comment and did a sort of natsukashi, nostalgic kind of thing.
They're like, worm burgers, my favorite.
I love that film.
Which is also funny because there's not a worm burger in this movie.
Is there not? There's a worm hot dog.
There's worm hot dogs. Yeah. Oh, we'll get into that.
Is there definitely not a worm? I feel like there is.
Is there?
Did you maybe snooze through that bit?
I could have been.
Anyway, we'll see when we get to my almost incomprehensible notes. Can I say, are we going to dive straight into it?
If you got something more to say,
there is something I want to say about the title sequence. I don't know if this name meant much to you, but when the film started, one of the first names you see is Ted V. Mickles.
Right.
Do you know who that is?
No.
So he's like a pretty prolific producer and director. Probably the most famous thing he was involved with is The Corpse Grinders.
Okay.
Do you know that film?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
But like, so when I saw his name, I was like, oh no.
So he has a reputation.
I mean, I kind of enjoy some of his films. He did The Doll Squad as well. Do you know that film?
Doll Squad?
Doll Squad?
No.
Squad? Squad. With a D.
As in multiple dolls?
Yeah.
No,
it's kind of like, from memory, it's like a crappy Charlie's Angels sort of rip-off kind of thing.
So they're not actual dolls?
No. It's like an action kind of thing. Oh. Yeah, so he's like a very well-known kind of like B-movie trashy producer. So seeing his name kind of half excited me and half made me a little nervous as well.
Like, fuck, it's not this guy again.
But this feels very different from his usual kind of thing that he's involved in. Yeah, so that was the first thing I noticed in those titles.
No, didn't clock it. Yeah, but so titles, speaking of which...
Fuck those titles.
Oh my god.
I'm going to be very rude in this episode.
Go for it. I think this film deserves a lot of hatred.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Those titles are so fucking irritating.
So just so people know what we're getting angry about. So the titles are a series of paintings, like kind of childlike drawn paintings, like a sun with a smiley face in it. It's all very happy. There's like a nursery rhyme that's been sung over the top of it. It's that
classic song of like, nobody likes me, so I'm going to go eat worms. It's like a...
Is that like a thing?
No, it's a thing, yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yes, I'll go eat worms. Nobody likes me, everybody hates me.
Yeah, no, I don't know why, but like I don't know what I know it from, but I think it's like a very famous kind of song on this around whatever.
I didn't even clock it, so I was watching. I was like, look at all these like paintings of like kids' drawings, all featuring worms and stuff, and it's
the worms suck. Those drawings, I hated those drawings of those worms so much.
It's all been like sung on the kazoo as well. It's like a really irritating sound, and the lyrics on top of it. Yeah, like you said, it's nobody likes me, everybody hates me. I guess I'll go eat worms.
That's one thing that struck me instantly. So from this song, and then straight after that as well, once the score kicks in, this movie has the worst music I've ever heard in any film. It is insanely annoying, the music, and it is relentless. It's ear-piercing, like that kind of, like you said, that kazoo kind of screeching. Although it does do something I love, which is it sings, like the lyrics are like about what's happening in the movie, which I'm a big fan of that. But my god, that music is infuriating.
It's very annoying, very, very in your face.
We should play it all throughout this episode and kind of make it louder than our voices. Make this a real endurance.
It's one of those things that you hear and it kind of like gets stuck in your head, and it's that horrible loop.
Oh, it's horrific.
Yeah, it's grim.
Anyway, so the titles are done. Those awful
and you already fucking hate it.
I was already, like, it's hard. Yeah, this one's a hard. We'll get to it later, but I wouldn't say I hated this film. I'm glad that I watched it, but it's an endurance test.
Oh,
and
100%.
those titles automatically it's just a sign like,
I mean,
hey,
it sets the tone.
Yeah, this is going to be fucked.
So we open the first scene is a bunch of like redneck hick type fishermen sitting around a camp,
Burping.
burping and farting, talking about fishing. Very kind of just like dumb, almost slapstick comedy-esque. Not anything we're supposed to take seriously. It kind of reminded me of that scene from Blazing Saddles, you know, where they're eating the beans around the campfire and
really
everyone's
similar to
farting.
that.
It's like that. And then we see like this guy, his feet only like shuffle over. And he's got like a limp, or he's dragging a foot. So obviously, this is the bad guy. And with some ominous music playing over the top. And he kind of like shuffles over and dumps a massive pile of worms on the floor. To which one of the fishermen goes, "I hear me the sound of worms."
I love that. Like, that was one of the first. There's a lot of worm sounds.
I didn't know worms made noises, but everyone can hear them apparently.
You might imagine a worm sound would be like a squelching kind of, but no. Worms apparently make high-pitched,
Like
sort of squeaking sounds. That was the first moment where I was like, the fuck is this movie? This guy is talking about he knows the sound of worms and is so excited about these worms as well.
Yeah. To which he finds the pile, picks up one and like puts it on a hook for fishing. And then that's the end of that scene.
Which we don't, like for quite a long time, we don't even know what the relevance of that scene is. But yeah, there we go.
But I think that is quite the case with this film. You get a lot of scenes, a lot of characters where like this person is completely insignificant, pointless to the plot. And they kind of come up, do some dumb shit and then go again.
Yeah, it feels like it often feels like a series of sketches. You've got like these sort of disconnected kind of scenes.
Yeah. But then, so the next scene, it's a kid's birthday party.
Ursula. Ursula's birthday. There's like a big
great
sign in the background. It's like, "Happy birthday, Ursula," like horribly written. Some of the worst singing of Happy Birthday I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, our Mary's daughter, Ursula.
So that's it. Oh, but before that, so we get the shuffling foot guy again, feet only, and then happy birthday to Ursula. And we get some great lines here. The dad is going, "Okay, now cut the cake, Ursula," and a kid next to her snatches the knife away from her, and he says,
I'm gonna cut the cake, Ursula, just the way I cut up your dog.
That line was amazing. That's her brother, right?
Which we later find out is his brother, and then becomes this mad sketch of her. People just keep saying, "I'm gonna beat the crap out of you."
Yeah, they just say crap over and over. Doesn't it? It climaxes with the brother getting punched in the face, right, by someone.
That's it. So the girl's like, "Don't cut my cake. I'm gonna beat the crap out of you." And the kid's like, "Dad, she says she's gonna beat the crap out of me." And then they just keep saying the same line, and again and again. It's not funny.
Classic
at all.
comedy.
And then the son gets punched and knocked out, and then another guy's like, "Wow, she beat the crap out of him." To which the little kid takes the knife, stabs the cake, doesn't cut it, straight up just stabs it right in the middle.
Yeah, that is not how you cut a cake.
It's not.
She stabs it and then mashes her hand into it, pulling out a chunk of the cake.
Yeah, which we then find out is full of worms. To which everyone freaks out.
Goes into fast motion.
It's like very Benny Hill.
Very Benny Hill.
Like bumping into walls and
there's
shit.
a shot, that shot of the woman running and smashing into a wall. Like, what the fuck?
It's very just like, what am I watching?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I did a big groan of, oh, fuck you, guy, when that scene kicked in.
Yep. I was loving it. This is great. This is hilarious. The kid who says, I'm going to cut the cake like I cut up your dog. I'm like, whoa, this is wild. This is great. This is hilarious. I'm loving this. But yeah, it gets very tiring.
I like that stuff. It was more the fast motion Benny Hill stuff that killed me.
Yeah, there's a lot of like mixing up of the genres. It's a bit shit.
Oh, we forgot to mention as well, this birthday party. It's not just any birthday party. She's the daughter of the mayor.
That's right.
Who is, I guess, the villain of this movie.
Was it? Oh yeah,
Yeah. That's the
right.
Yeah, it's the mayor's daughter.
yeah. I kept forgetting who everyone was. I have him. I have him listed down like in my notes as just like crooked businessman from here on. So I guess the mayor is the villain.
So yeah, that was the mayor's daughter's birthday, and then we cut into the mayor, who's just sort of like walking around the lake, right, which becomes a big part of this film.
Yeah,
and he's with his sidekick, who is an absolute cunt. This guy, he's like this muscled up dude, and he's permanently angry.
Yeah,
shows no respect to the mayor at all. But we know in this scene, like, it's clear that the mayor is dodgy in some way. It seems to be presenting that this is, your classic kind of evil businessman kind of character. But I don't really know what he did. There seems to be an implication maybe he murdered someone. But basically, we it's clear, like, he wants to do something with this lake. He wants to develop the land, and someone is in his way. Like,
that's
there's
right.
someone who's causing, a problem about this. Also in this scene, we find out that the fishermen from the start are dead.
That's right, yeah. So they're saying the lake is cursed, right? Yeah. And they want to rezone the lake to build like some flats or whatever.
Yeah.
Like apartment blocks. That's right. Like I said, person is in the way. And that is, of course, the worm guy.
It's very, like, that scene was very dialogue heavy, and I very, very much found it difficult to concentrate on what was going on.
I think it's also worth saying that the dialogue, the audio quality of this film is terrible.
Yeah, and actually something that becomes even more apparent later on, all the performances in this, as you said before, like, Troma-esque kind of movie, the performances are 100% Troma.
Oh, yeah.
I could almost picture Lloyd Kaufman directing them, because every line of dialogue is screamed.
Yeah.
No one talks normally.
Yeah.
The whole film, every fucking line of this movie is just screamed. And it's just characters yelling at each other. And as you said, shit audio quality, so it's like kind of, like getting very, very noisy as it like peaks, and oh my god.
Yeah, the mayor's like muscly businessman partner guy, he's very much just like Bozo out of Toxic Avenger, isn't he?
Definitely.
I wouldn't be surprised if old Kaufman took some inspiration from this. It seems like it would be his favorite movie. So they're saying that someone's in their way, which is the old German hermit.
Yeah. German hermit Herman. His name's Herman.
Herman the German hermit, yeah. That's him. He's a he's also a hillbilly redneck guy. He's got the dodgy foot, so he kind of walks walks dragging his foot behind. So we're like, so this is the guy who's been walking around placing worms in people's food and stuff. We are introduced to him in his apartment talking to a jar of worms. So he's just got this massive jar and he's talking to us. He's like, and you can't understand a word he's fucking saying because the audio quality is terrible. And he's talking with this fake German accent.
This is the director. Let's make that clear. This is the director of the movie.
and he's just got worms in jars all over his house. And he's just going around talking to them, saying like random shit. And he's like, hey, you need to clean your teeth or something.
It goes for so fucking long, the scene of him talking to these worms. Not only talking, he's picking them up, he's like kissing them, rubbing them on his nose. There's one point where he's like, oh, is there something wrong with you? Oh, are you? And he like rubs the worm on his nose. He's like, oh no, you feel okay. And then as you said, he's like referencing them like brushing their teeth. He's like, oh, your breath stinks. You need to brush your teeth. I'm like, fuck you, cunt. Fuck off. Like, end this goddamn scene. I swear to God, that scene was like 15 minutes of that shit.
It couldn't have been that long.
It was fucking long. It was so long. And he's feeding them meat at one point. Do you remember that?
He has like a bone that he cuts up.
Brings out this massive bony bit of meat, which he then drops on his foot and really overreacts. He's like screaming in pain about this bone being on his foot. But my God, that scene was so irritating.
Excruciating, yeah.
Excruciating. His, credit to the director of this film. He is committed. He does some stuff that I would not do with worms for any amount of money.
Which goes back to his ulterior motive, some
Yeah.
kind of fetish.
He's clearly a worm fucker.
I wonder
this
if
guy.
it's like the Japanese like tentacle thing, you know? Very like weird phallic objects. I wonder if he has a little wormy penis.
This film really... This film really demonstrated...
Turned you on?
No. I was going to say, this film really reminded me how disgusting worms are. Good Christ, they're gross.
Yeah.
Like, just there's so many worm close-ups in this. It's sickening. Like it did make me feel very sick. This movie.
Yeah, I thought this was a lot easier to handle than when the first time I saw Mermaid in a Manhole, because that's very worm heavy as well. I remember when I first watched Mermaid in a Manhole, that literally made me feel sick. I thought I was going to vomit. Because you got a lot of the worms like growing out of the body and like vomiting worms, and that's a lot more like grotesque. I remember when I saw that, I was literally nauseous. This one, I wasn't too bad. So he's in there talking to his worms, telling them to brush their teeth and other dumb shit. The mayor goes to his apartment, and he's basically searching for the deed to the lake. So the German guy, his name is Ungar, he owns all the land the lake is on. So they're trying to get this deed from him so that they can basically rezone it and build up from it. So at first he's trying to trick him. And he's like, hey, Ungar, did your father leave you anything maybe you want to give me, or we can put it in a museum for the town or something? And Ungar's like, no, he didn't leave me anything. And then the mayor's like, I'll fucking kill you! Immediate turn of tone. Storms out, goes to his muscly bozo friend. He's like, well, I think we're just going to have to kill him. To which the other guy's just shouting and screaming various things. Yeah, so then that's when the family turn up. So do you want to cover the vacation?
Oh God, yeah. So this guy shows up at Herman. What's his last name? Ungar.
Ungar, yeah.
Yeah, Herman the German
Hermit.
hermit. And this like very very friendly guy. He's
Yeah.
got a lovely hat on. His name's Manhoof. Which I found very funny. He shows up and he's brought his family there to basically have what appears to be the shittiest holiday of all time.
Yeah.
This guy's clearly being presented as a rich guy, so I don't understand why he's gone to this shitty lake in New Mexico to like have a fucking crappy holiday. But his wife, so he's there with his like what I think. I'm kind of confused by the family dynamic here. So we've got friendly Hat Man.
The Daz.
Yeah, we've got his wife, Mildred.
Angry
who
wife.
is screaming, like blood-curdling screams the whole time. And then I think it's meant to be his two kids.
I
There's
think
the
so,
daughter,
yeah.
and then his sort of kind of incel-looking son. But then there's also a reference later on about the incel son running away with the mother as if they're like romantically attached. So I'm like, wait, is it? Yeah, that was like a throwaway comment.
That's weird.
But I assume it's his kids. But yeah, they're there to have a holiday.
That's
and they're
right.
just screaming at Herman from the get-go.
And that's when I was like, wait, so Herman is a landlord now? He's
Yeah,
renting like holiday cabins? What the fuck? When did this happen?
Baffling. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's right. So they're very much like city folk come into the country for a little bit of a getaway. The mum just hates everything. They're trying to cheer her up. You know, maybe you'll get a tan or something. She's like, I don't tan, I burn. And talking about food. Herman is saying, you know, there's no meat, there's only lizards and bats. They got to eat lizards, and people are fainting. That's it. The mum faints and a bat shits on her face. It's another one of those like, hang on, so now who are these people? And there's another storyline written into it where everyone just overacts on everything, and ended with a woman getting bat shit on her forehead. So after the mum gets a dollop of bat shit on her face, we cut to the mayor and his comrades gathered around a table thinking, what are they going to do with Herman the German?
They are planning to murder him, and they make so many. There's so many very funny lines in this. So they're talking about murder. One of them is like, oh, I don't want to do a murder, and she says the line, "Murder is a very punky thing to do." There's also a guy keeps referencing a big hanging tree that they have as well, which is very fucked. And there's that. What's the sidekick's name again?
I don't know. I just called him Bozo.
Bozo, yeah. Okay, big muscly Bozo boy. He's getting real worked up about this murder, and at one point he's like, I wish I was in Nam again. So yeah,
he's really high strung.
They're really wound up. They want to kill Herman. They want to get that deed and take over that land.
I think that's probably my favorite conversation in the whole film.
It's intense, and again, every single line is delivered at like peak volume.
It's turned up to 11. Yeah, it's like you said. The strung up guy. He's like, let's kill him, and the woman goes. She goes, she's really just like a whiny, the person who you'd hate to have around for a dinner party. She's like, that's murder. People who murder don't like themselves. That's a very punky thing to do. And then he's like, you call me a punk? I'll cut your head off and feed you to my piranha. And then this other guy, he's like, you don't have a piranha. I ate it. And he's like, what the fuck is happening?
It's so hard to follow. There's so much going on.
Yeah, he goes, I ate your piranha. And then he's like, you ate rosemary? Yeah, it's like, it's just chaos. Very difficult to follow. And so they plan to go back to Herman's shack to get the deed.
I love the song that kicks in.
That's it. So now he's driving around the city, right?
Herman driving around.
Yeah.
And we've got the most fuckedest song I've ever heard. Fuckedest song.
Is that a word? Fuckedest?
I don't know. It is now.
You heard it here first, kids.
It sounds like a dying cat, and it's just sort of wailing. But this is also where we get like the lyrics that are talking about the plot, which is so good.
Yeah.
They're like, Herman's driving into town. These guys want to get that D. That was awesome.
So it just like tells us everything that's going to happen from here on.
Oh, it's great. And then Herman, oh man, this scene was so weird. It's just such a classic, like, this particular brand of movie, like these random scenes that happen that have nothing to do with anything. So Herman's going to a shop. The guy running the shop, I think he was supposed to be Italian. He makes a lot of references to being new in the country, but how he speaks better English than Herman, which, I mean, like, Herman is a German. But they're talking about toilets for ages.
Bullcock.
Yeah, so what is that? It's a part of a toilet?
Yeah.
Why does Herman want to buy a toilet part? Does that have any relevance to anything?
Just because, apparently, according to this movie, I haven't looked it up, so I don't know how accurate it is, but apparently, the thing that's inside the water tank that floats as the water level comes up is called a bullcock.
Right. Why does he want that?
Probably just because it's a funny word. So he's like, I want the bullcock. And the Italian guy's like, why are you speaking English?
Yeah, he's really confused. Yeah. He's like, hey, what are you talking about, eh?
Yeah, and it's like a 5-minute sketch about this thing called the bullcock.
But there's no plot relevance to him buying that. Okay, good. I was very confused throughout that scene.
It's completely pointless.
In that scene as well, we meet a conservationist guy who is very angry all the time. He wants to save this lake, and he kind of I guess he sort of sees Herman as sort of this hero who's like holding on to the lake and keeping it intact, even though Herman clearly doesn't care about conservation at all.
That's it. He's like, we're on your side, we gotta save the lake. And Herman's like, he's like, you're a hippie. I don't know what that means, but it's a funny word. Just like bullcock. And then he walks out.
I hated that scene.
This whole movie's an endurance test.
Yeah, it truly is. We also meet, right after that, Fern Hopeful, I think her name was.
Was that the character name or the actress name?
That's the character's name. Fern Hopewell.
Hopeful?
Hopeful.
Oh,
Hopeful, sorry. Fern Hopeful.
Jesus.
Who's an archaeologist.
Yeah.
Archaeology student, right? Yeah. Yeah, she's researching the lake. And, like, she's also going to be staying at Herman's place. So Herman's picking him up. There was a reference here I wanted to ask you about, because I don't know if, like, I know you watched this in a jet lag haze, but I also felt like I was in a jet lag haze watching this fucked movie. But there's a bit where Herman tells her to keep away from the two old ladies. What is...
Oh, yeah. I vaguely recall that.
Who are they?
Oh, no, I don't know.
All right, good. I'm glad it wasn't just me.
Yeah, now that you say that, yeah, he did say something like that, but again, that's got absolutely no relevance to anything.
I feel like all his dialogue is just a rambling, incoherent mess.
Yeah, I wonder if this was like scripted or he was just like winging it the whole time. So she, and then that woman, the Fern Hopefulness, what's her name?
Fern Hopeful.
There you go. She hooks up with the hippies, so they're all like buddied up now.
Wait, did we skip the bit where Herman argues with his own foot?
In the car?
Yeah. He's like, my foot, it won't move. I want to drive, but my foot, like, or something like that. I'm like, fuck this movie.
Again, like, completely pointless, like, adds no purpose to anything, yeah. Like, you want to go, you want to stay? So after Fern Hopefulness hooks up with the hippies, so some random German woman comes in, who, I guess, compared to the other cast, is supposed to be attractive. She's like the attractive person of the cast.
Right.
She's like this big buxom German lady who's basically trying to seduce Herman the German.
Because she thinks he's rich.
Yeah.
Because he owns part of the lake or something like that.
Yeah. So she's saying that she's going to come over to his and cook him a meal and that, but he's like so uninterested. He's like, oh, this woman.
It also comes out of nowhere as well. It's when she was introduced, I'm like, am I supposed to know who this is? It's just very frantically thrown in your face.
And it's very fucking painful because it's another one of those really shitty, like, fake accents and overacted Troma-esque.
Yeah.
Right, and I felt exactly how Herman looks. He's just like, this bitch.
Exhausted by it.
Yeah. And it goes on for so long, but she's insistent that she's going to come over and cook him a good meal.
Then eventually Fern gets a ride, finally, with Herman. It's sort of been like introduced that he's going to give her a ride. Then she doesn't get a ride, hangs out with the hippies, and then he finally gives her a ride. And while, as they're riding, a worm just comes out sort of behind Herman's ear, and Fern Hopefulness, whatever her name is, just absolutely flips out about this worm. Which, to be fair, if you had a fucking worm that just came out of your ear right now, I would be very upset as well.
I think I would be too.
Yet she still continues to like hang out with Herman.
I'll stay with him. He seems nice. Yeah.
But she does reference the worm coming out of his ear constantly after that. It's like, well, don't stay there.
Yeah.
After that, we see like the rich family camping, which is so funny. It's just the worst camping I've ever seen. Their tent is absolutely, utterly fucked.
Isn't it just like a sheet, like a bed sheet on top?
It's just this awful bed sheet. And like just Mildred, the wife, her legs are poking out and she's just screaming the whole time. And then the rich son guy, the incel son, he's just going around photographing these two random women who are also introduced to the film at this point. Like, I guess they're also guests.
They're just another, like, completely, like, pointless plot line that doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah,
that's some pretty sad camping they had going.
Why would they, like, they're clearly rich.
Yeah.
Why are they doing this to themselves?
So after the completely pointless, random photographing scene, the German lady comes to Herman's place, which has been ransacked by the mayor and his cronies, right? So German Herman, German. He's basically setting everything straight. He's trying to put everything back to how it was. The lady comes in. She sees his worms and just starts freaking out.
Understandably,
she hates worms, and the reason is
because I found that really funny. Like, you can just dislike worms, but no, she makes the point of saying that worms remind her of Chinese food.
Yeah. She's like, I hate Chinese food. And
that is quite funny, to be fair.
I laughed. I think I briefly woke up from my jet lagged haze during that moment. So she's freaking out, shouting about how much she hates Chinese food, and throws a pot of worms on the floor and stamps on them. and then runs out, which is a big deal breaker for old Herman the German.
Yeah, you can't kill his worms.
No, and he's like, she murdered Carl.
Yeah, I love the
no."
names. Like, we got Carl the Worm, and then there's Stooge 1, Stooge 2, Stooge 3, Stooge 4. It's like, well, you didn't bother to give them interesting names.
No, only Carl. Carl gets special treatment.
I swear to God, early on, I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like there's a point where he calls one of the worms Herman, which is his own name. Wouldn't surprise me, just how shambolic this film is.
Yeah. But she can't resist the money, so she comes back.
Can I talk about that transition is so shit. Like, what absolute shit script writing. So the scene is basically, I think her name's Heidi, right? So Heidi, Heidi does all this shit in Herman's place, leaves,
Kills his worms.
cuts to the next scene, she's just back.
Yeah.
There's nothing in between there.
As if nothing happened. She's like completely just like calm, relaxed, walks in, and then just starts eating some pasta.
Yeah, she's cooked. She's like, oh, I want to cook you spaghetti. You're going to love it.
Yeah.
Cooks the spaghetti. And then we've got one of the worst. This is the worst thing about this movie. The close-ups of disgusting mouths filled with worms as they're like kind of half munching on, like not quite like biting them, but kind of like gnawing on these worms.
Gumming them.
Disgusting.
Yeah. So all the food is mixed in with worms. So she's eating this pasta filled with worms. It's a very horrible, extreme close-up of her mouth. And Herman's loving it. He's loving it. He's on cloud 9, if that's the saying. Yes. And then she kind of like chokes. She starts choking. She's like, "Ugh," starts like choking. Not before smashing a bottle on Herman's head for whatever reason.
Do you know what I thought that was? Interestingly enough, like, because she smashes that bottle, and I'm like, is everything after this scene a dream sequence?
Right.
Because that's when things get fucked. But then, as it went on, I'm like, nah, this movie's not.
It's probably not that deep.
Into it. Yeah. They just probably had a breakable bottle and just decided to smash it on his head.
Yeah, so she falls to the floor immediately after eating. She starts transforming into half woman, half worm creature.
Which was quite a shock for me, because I went into this basically raw without, like, other than seeing that stupid fucking poster. So at this point, I'm like, all right, we got some dumb comedy about this idiot, like, feeding people worms. No, she turned, like, I didn't realize we were going to get people turning into giant worms.
Yeah.
And when we say giant worms, let's not get too excited about that, because it's basically a person wearing a brown sock, a giant brown sock.
It's like a sleeping bag kind of thing. It's a very shitty worm costume. It's just their legs are kind of bound together in like a giant sleeping bag type thing. But old Herman the German, he's over the moon with his new beautiful German woman pet.
Yeah, he's stoked.
So yeah, he keeps her as a pet.
Cages her instantly. Puts her in a cage. He's got it all ready to go. All through the scene. I think this scene had the most fucked music as well. It's just bonkers, horrible sounds, and yeah, oof, it was rough.
Yeah, it's pretty grim. Yeah, and then we cut to the campers.
This is my favourite scene.
Oh, then you go ahead.
So, yeah, the rich family, and Fern, Hopewell, whatever her name is.
Fern,
so we got the rich family, Fern, and these girls that were getting photographed, who I guess are campers as well.
Yeah.
Like, staying on German's property, Herman the German's property, show up and they're just pissed off. They like want food from Herman. But the thing I loved about this scene, this actually made the whole thing worth watching for me. Just those two women angrily screaming for hot dogs. Yeah. They just demand hot dogs, and Herman's like, I don't have any hot dogs. I got salami. I got this. I got that.
You got any hot dogs in there? Even a crummy place like this pigsty's gotta have hot dogs.
No hot dogs. Hot dogs got sawdust in them.
Hey, Shorty, don't you know that it's un-American not to have hot dogs?
Not wieners, you understand? Plain American hot dogs. I heard they were going to take the eagles off the flagpoles and put hot dogs up there. Sexy!
No hot dogs. Got menu On a bologna sandwich costs $1.
And I think it's around this time, I think Fern makes a very apt comment where she's like, do you really want to eat food made by this fucking wormy cunt?
Yeah.
Like this guy who's been handling worms, he had a worm crawling out of his ear. Do you really want to eat food?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, 100%. And you see his dirty hands, like, touching things, making the food. Like, no one wants that.
Yeah,
It's
Fern is the
disgusting.
most legit person in the whole film.
And then we transition into the other hilarious food type. So we've got the rich family, Mildred, this permanently screaming wife. She's like one of my favorite things that's kind of like not even that noticeable. She's out there camping and she's got like a bed and a TV somehow,
even realise
somehow set up outside. But what food is it that she loves?
Well, I mean, that's it. The husband is worried because there's no hot dogs, and he's like, "Don't worry, I always keep some fuggies in the car in case of emergencies." Or
Wasn't it fudgy?
was it fudgy? I'm just. I was like,
What's
what the
a
fuck is a
fudgy?
fudgy? Or,
Is it a thing, or was this movie invent?
I have no idea.
fudgies?
And so he grabs these fudgies to calm his wife down because apparently they can't leave home without them. And then she's just in the tent, like gorging on these things.
They
kind of
look like cream puff kind of things.
Sure.
Like like Twinkies or something. I don't know what they are. They did not.
know.
When I heard fudgies, I'm like, oh, so some kind of chocolate brownie thing, but it's not that.
No, it's like some white. I thought it might be like marshmallows type things, or
Also, that was gross.
it was just a really grotesque, like crude way of eating. It's like
And it's these close-ups of the mouths. And one thing I noticed about this film, no one knows how to eat in this film. Like, when you eat, you don't shove things in your mouth and then, like, gnaw at them and have them half pour out of your mouth. Every time someone eats, it's just this thing of everything's just sort of falling out of their mouths because they're obviously wanting to show the worms.
yeah.
But it's disgusting.
And then the old fudgies. They also have worms in them.
Of course.
So we know what's going to happen to what's her name, Mildred.
Mildred. Yeah.
Mildred. And then doesn't Herman like wheelbarrow her off?
Yeah, I was sort of confused by this because I'm like, oh, has she died? But no, she's getting wheeled off and she's turned into a worm.
That's it. After
as well.
they eat the worms, they kind of choke for a bit, then pass out, and then change into worms.
Yeah. So she's tossed into the cage.
That's it.
with,
Herman's whacked her in a
Heidi.
wheelbarrow, wheeled her off to the house, and put her in the human worm pen that he's got going now.
Oh my god.
And then a massive what the fuck moment, and I was like, well, where the hell did this come from? Another, I think, probably half-hooked plot that they just like thought of halfway through filming. So apparently the water in the lake has turned red.
Yeah, that scene was really weird. So we get Fern again. Fern Hopewell.
Yep. That's her.
Hopefulness.
That's the one.
She's like investigating because she's an archaeologist, right?
So
And her and then the incel son off screen have become mates.
right.
And they're investigating these giant worm tracks. And she's like, oh, these are definitely, these were not made by a vehicle.
Doesn't the son say they're dinosaur prints? Or something?
I love, like, who made him an expert? And yeah, at this point, the lake is glowing red.
Yeah.
But I love how dismissive she is. She's like, fucking, that happens all the time. Don't worry about it. And then she's like, but it is a little weird to happen in a lake. She's kind of like instantly dismisses that it's glowing, but then is like, oh, but it is a bit weird.
But it's a really shitty, like, CGI twinkle, like, added
It's not
to
CGI, mate.
It's
This is the
what is it?
1970s.
What the fuck would you
It's
even
like a
call
bit of
that?
animation over the top of the thing. Very early CGI.
Yeah. And apparently that's due to the red tide. Is how they
There you go.
didn't know the lakes had tides.
Well, that's what she said. She's like, oh, it happens in like rivers or something. She's like, it is a bit weird to happen in a lake. Totally irrelevant.
Yeah.
That stuff, kind of.
It really is, actually.
Yeah. We didn't really.
We didn't need it. It was just a bit of, like, fancy redness thrown in. But we kind of come back full circle and we see the fisherman from the beginning again.
This is like, just looking at my notes. I've just written, at this point, this film is cooked. You know what cooked means, right? You don't say that.
We don't say it in
UK,
England.
but I think I've told you about it before. It's just like completely fucked and bonkers.
Hey.
And yeah, like this film is cooked as fuck. Like when those fishermen reappeared, that was the scene where I'm like, this film is utterly cooked.
Yeah. So they have kind of come back as ghosts,
Well,
kind of ghost-like people,
kind of.
worm things. They live beneath the tide, and apparently the worms that they used to catch the fish in the beginning turn them into a new strain of men. So they're like super beings.
They're worm men.
Yeah. And they want Herman's help. Apparently, they need women to procreate.
They're gagging for a fuck
That's it.
with some worm ladies.
Oh, God, don't say that. Yeah. And so they want to take the worm women home. The was it Heidi and
Heidi and Mildred.
name these people, yeah. But Herman refuses, and he says, "No, don't take away my worm women. I will make you some more," because he has the know-how. He just needs to feed a bunch of worms to people, and then he can make more worm women. And then it's like, right, well, here we go. Now it becomes full-on bonkers, cooked, as you say, madness, where he's just going around trying to change as much people into worms as possible.
I love this one little tangent the film goes on before we get that montage of him turning people into worms. The incel son. I think his name's Arnold.
Right.
Not that matters. But there's a bit where the rich husband doesn't give a shit that his wife is gone. He seems very unfazed by it. He's like, oh, where's Arnold at? And they're like, oh, I think he's got the runs. Do you remember this?
No.
You don't remember this? And it just has this shot of the incel son guy, like, freaking out, running into some bushes, like, grabbing his stomach. Do you not remember this?
No.
So he, like, runs into the bushes. It has nothing to do with anything. So it's like, oh, he's got the runs. He runs into some bushes, and then you see, as he reaches the bushes, all of this toilet paper explodes from the bushes. And I had to rewind it, because I was just like, what did I just see? But yeah, so that's like a random tangent before we go into, Herman basically poisoning everyone with his worms. Also, Herman loves worms, right? Very upset when Carl, the worm, dies.
Yeah.
Yet this fucker is totally fine with having people just munch down his worms. Bit hypocritical.
I know. He didn't think that far through, did he?
So basically those two girls who were like screaming for hot dogs before.
I think this is my favourite scene, actually, or one of them.
This is
or my favourite
the
shot.
best and worst scene of the film, I would say. So he's cooked the hot dogs for these girls who are stoked. Is your favourite shot? I wonder if it's the same as mine, because my favourite shot is that he gets the hot dogs and he puts them on the ground. Is that what it was?
Yeah. That's it. He's calling. He's like, hot dogs, come get them, and they're like run over, like they're gagging for the hot dogs, and it's like this plate just like left on the floor outside his home.
It is. It's one of the grimmest shots I've ever seen. And because the film's really, it's obviously shot cheaply, the film stock's all fucked. It's kind of like got this brown haze of these dirty hot dogs on the ground that these women are running up absolutely chuffed to be eating these like dirty dogs.
They're just like they're like gathered around this plate on the in the mud and squatting down, eating these hot dogs.
God, that was so gross and funny.
Brilliant. And of course, worms in the hot dogs. They choke. He brings them in.
Yeah, we get that weird shot of like the worms are like under their skin, and the shot like they're clearly like wearing tights, and they've just mashed some worms under their tights.
Yeah.
And who is watching this worm transformation?
Fern Gully.
Yeah, Fern Gully, hopefulness.
That's her.
Is watching this scene, freaks out obviously because it's quite a confronting thing to see, and runs out.
And then chase ensues, doesn't it?
Yeah. So
terrible chase.
Herman's chasing her down, ties her up. She spends quite a lot of the movie getting to... I just remembered my favorite... No.
Oh.
Okay, I take everything back about my favorite scenes. My favorite scene is the next scene.
Oh, I don't remember what happened.
Alright, so Fern has seen the worm transformation. She's tied up. We kind of forget about her for a moment. Herman realizes he's lost a worm. You don't remember this?
No.
So he's lost his worm called Bertha. You don't remember this? Oh my god, this is my favorite bit. Right. So he's like, I've lost Bertha, where is she? And he like runs out into the woods trying to find this lost worm.
What?
Do you not remember that?
No.
Fuck, you must have been real jet lag when he was just... And he has like a music box.
Oh, that's right.
And he puts it down in the woods.
Yeah.
And then like the worm Bertha comes out, like crawls out, and he's like, "Oh, Bertha!" And he picks her up, I guess, and he's holding the worm up, but it's really weird. The shot, like the worm's like looks like it's sort of dried out in the middle, so it's like standing up, like a standing up worm, and he's got it in his hand. It's like sort of wriggling around, and he does this absolutely demented dance with this worm. And it goes for ages. He's like dancing with this worm, and then it freeze frames on his utterly delighted face.
Yeah.
That scene, actually, that scene makes this film required viewing for everyone.
A man dancing with his worm.
We need to put this film in that book, 1001 Movies You Must See Before We Die. We have to put that in because of this scene. That's the best scene in the film.
I think at that point I was like, what have I done?
That's truly amazing, that bit. Truly.
It's another one of those scenes that is so pointless. It's not required at all. It doesn't have any purpose other than people be like, oh, this is fucked.
It's
and
fantastic.
It goes on for so long.
Very long scene.
Him dancing with his worm. Jesus Christ, yeah.
We've had a long digression here from the supposed actual plot of this film.
That's right.
But then we finally go back to the mayor's gang. And what are they planning to do here?
So, well, we all know that they're after his land, and Fern Gully knows that. So she's saying that she wants to help him, and that she will bring the deed to his land to the council meeting. So she can stop the people from like trying to take over it. And so he lets her go. Essentially, gives her the deed to his land and lets her go to the town meeting, which is very trustful of him.
Glad you remember this stuff because I don't remember any of this. I remember the town hall debate. I found this part confusing. So I wanted to ask you if you could shed any light on this. Because
before the town meeting, though, there's that scene.
That's what I wanted to ask you about. The house?
Yeah.
Getting doused with gasoline.
So everyone's now dressed up as like clan members?
Yeah. So this is... and it cut to this a few times earlier, actually. Earlier in the film, we saw some people dressed in sort of clan outfits. And I'm like, what the fuck has this got to do with anything?
Yeah.
So then before this town hall meeting, we get this shot of... It's the gang, like the mayor's gang.
Yeah.
Like dousing a house with gasoline. But was that supposed to be Herman's?
I think so, but it's like
it was
a tower.
A house.
It's like a massive like tower.
And he lives in a shack.
Yeah.
So I just didn't understand what that had to do with anything. But anyway, so that happens.
Yeah.
For some reason they're in
And why
KKK
are they in
outfits.
clan outfits? He's German.
And they can't blow up this house because they don't have a match or something.
They forgot the matches.
Like that. Anyway, so
it reminded me of thinking about it that scene, or not just the one scene, the multiple times in what was that fucking film we watched together? The guy who has the expensive car. Yet
Mad Foxes.
Yeah, but they can't damage it because it's so expensive. So in this one, they're like dousing the gasoline, but they can't afford to actually burn something. So they're just like, we forgot the fucking match.
That was definitely what it was. Yeah.
So we go to the town meeting, and the mayor's like, "Did you do it?" And he's like, "Oh, we didn't have a match." So
yeah. I actually love this town hall debate because it feels kind of real.
Right.
It almost like feels like they're just like extras that like lived in the town that they shot this in. And do you know what? All the villains of this film, I mean, who is the villain really? Is it Herman or the mayor? I don't know. But like the mayor's like clearly being shown as a dodgy business guy. But all of the points that he makes, I'm like, fair enough.
Yeah.
You know, it actually makes sense why you're rezoning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he, as you said, his gang, the mayor's gang, show up. They're like, we couldn't get the deed, we couldn't blow up, I guess, Herman's house, whatever that place was. And the mayor is furious, leaves in a rage, and my other favorite moment of the film, kicks a chair very angrily.
Yeah.
There was something very delightfully real about that kicking of the chair.
That was good.
And we kind of move away from that. He sort of angrily left. We know he's going to do something.
Yeah.
But then we go back to the continued sort of like poisoning of the the people.
Herman is listening to the town debate over the radio.
Yeah.
And he learns that they're basically going to take the lake away from him. So now he has no choice but to turn the whole town into worms.
Yeah.
And there we have a long montage of eating, of just like close-up mouths munching, mixed in with various foods.
The worst
With the fucking theme song playing.
The worst is the ice cream worm eating is this gross, like, white vanilla ice cream pouring out of someone's mouth as worms. Oh, that was disgusting. Do you know, I don't know if you noticed this as well. I think it's the same person eating worms. I think that's why there's close-ups. Because if you watch it, every time there's a character, say, with a mustache, when it cuts to the close-up, it's a fake mustache. And I think my theory is that it is whatever his name is, the guy that directed it. I think all those close-ups are his mouth.
That's an interesting
because
point.
it's definitely, at least in that sequence, it's always the same mouth. Whenever it cuts to a close-up, they've just put a fake mustache on or something, which makes sense because this is a low-budget film. I would not put worms in my mouth for like shitty pay. You know?
Yeah, there's a very...
Sorry, I just looked at my notes for that sequence. I've written something that said, "This movie makes me hate humanity." I think that was the peak, like of me just being like, "Fuck you, guy," for making me watch this.
Yeah, this isn't a good film. We watched it so you don't have to. Yeah, so after the long and painful montage is finally done with, the evil mayor arrives at Herman's home. And he's like, "Give me the fucking papers." And they have a throwdown.
He had a gun and an axe at the same time.
I don't even remember the axe.
He just has a gun on him and an axe in the other hand. It's hilarious.
I don't know if you can shed some light on this, because I could not figure out what the fuck happened. But it seemed like the mayor just turned into worms.
Yeah, honestly, I rewound it 3 times. I don't really know. I thought he got killed by the worm ladies in the cage, but fucked if I know.
Yeah, because it seemed like he kind of just like melted into worms. Yeah. Because his shirt just like went all floppy and loads of worms just started like pouring out of the sleeves and neck holes. I was like, what happened? What happened?
Yeah, I don't know. It was really confusing and I'm not sure.
Yeah, fair enough. So now the mayor is worms. Small worms.
Mayor's worms.
Not big worms. He's not like a worm like the other people. He's just worms. I have no idea how that happened. And
did that happen? I don't even know.
It did.
I'm not sure.
And then, I found out what happened a little bit later, but then immediately after, Herman was just like, he's like holding his neck, and he's like, fuck, and he's like getting pulled out of his home. And I was like, wait, what the fuck is happening? Nothing makes sense. And Herman's like it seems like he's walking, but he's like holding his neck as if he's in pain.
It's the fisherman. What?
And then it turns out it's the fucking fisherman. They've got him on the hook.
I actually legit love that scene, like the fisherman worm. So imagine this is a guy sort of lying down, like stomach down, with a fishing rod. He's got his stupid sleeping bag worm body, and he's hooked Herman, and he's like pulling him back. That was very funny.
Yeah. So they reel Herman in, and they make him eat worms.
Yeah,
that's it.
And I love like the worms as well, these sort of human worms. When they move around, they just leave this gross trail of foam.
Yeah, what's that about?
Foamy. Fuck, that was
it's like
gross.
Shaving foam or something. Yeah,
disgusting. But yeah, they force all these worms into Herman's mouth, which is probably the worst worm eating moment, because again, it's like the director doing it, so he's going all out. His mouth is just like filled with these disgusting worms. He's like sort of half eating them.
Yeah. And the worm men slither off into the home to collect their worm women.
Wives.
Don't know how it's going to happen, though, because there's 2 worm women and 3 worm men.
Well,
shares.
Yeah.
And then we come to the final scene of various townfolk being worm people. And it kind of reminded me of that scene, the last scene of They Live. You know, where it's like
it was kind of similar. Yeah.
It's like now the aliens are just among us, and it was like that, just various people being worms. A woman gets into bed with her husband, and he's a worm, and
it was like a shit version of They Live because the whole time I was watching it, I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like, it wasn't they didn't show enough to like really make sense of it, right?
Yeah. And Herman is crawling away. He's half worm, and he's
very
crawling.
funny, very slowly crawling.
No one, where the fuck is he going? He's just going. He's crawling, and he's crawling forever. And then he meets his demise.
Gets smashed up by a truck, explodes in front of the truck. Not a great effect. It's basically just like a shot of the window and his face pressed against it while a bit of goo hits the window.
Yeah, get the old windscreen wipers on,
and that's it.
And that's it. We're done. We're done.
Definitely the most exhausting endurance test of a film we've had so far.
Yeah, I was really enjoying the first, 10-15 minutes of it, I think. And then that, second half, or before it got to the climax, with all, the dancing scenes and the town meetings, when it got to that, I was just like, oh my god, when will this end?
I think I was the opposite.
Fucking exhausting.
I think I kind of accepted the madness in the last stuff and went along with it. But I was permanently kind of disgusted throughout this film. Yeah, it's a weird one. I'm very glad I watched it because I love watching films where I'm just like, how the fuck did this crap ever come to being? And as you said, it is not a good film, but you gotta respect how what's the word? It's just so specific, this film.
Oh yeah.
And I kind of enjoyed how weird it got. But I also hated it.
Yeah.
I loved it and I hated it.
That's it. You kind of enjoy it for the sake that it exists, but would you ever watch it again?
Absolutely fucking not. It is properly gross as well.
Yeah. So a little bit of fun information for you. Apparently, when this did premiere in 77 or 78, the people were given discounts if they would eat live worms at the theatre.
Oh boy.
So he's dedicated.
Just a discount? Not even free? Just a discount? Yeah, 20% off.
You'd at least want to see it for free if you're eating fucking worms.
How much would you have to be paid to eat a worm?
You know what? I wouldn't. I just wouldn't want to eat a
worm. What if I was like $1 million?
Probably would eat a worm. But actually, I mean,
$1,000?
Yeah, a little bit of a worm.
100?
No, that's a bit.
Alright, so it's somewhere between 100 and 1,000.
Yeah. I read something, I mean, this probably isn't applicable because different species, but I did read somewhere where a kid ate a slug on a dare.
Oh, I've heard about this.
Did you read that?
Yeah. What happened again?
I think it was in England. He just they were like...
Had a parasite or something? Is that right?
And it had a parasite, and he went into a coma and died from eating this slug.
That's messed up.
So
don't eat a worm.
I'm going to say maybe don't eat worms, but...
Unless you guaranteed it doesn't have a parasite.
So I was saying that, I wonder how he farmed all these worms. Because there's so many fucking worms. He must have gone to a worm farm, because that might be a thing. I had insecticide or...
You could probably, where do fishermen get their worms from? They must go to a fishing shop, right? So I don't know what the logistics would be, but I'm sure there'd be some kind of fishing tackle-y kind of place.
That's probably it, yeah. Because if you have, I remember having reptiles before, and you get crickets and mice and stuff, and it's all just safe to eat for animals.
Yeah.
You can imagine fucking Herman going into the bait store with a fake mustache, and he's like, "Oh, more worms," and he's like, "Yeah, big day of fishing ahead of me," just hoarding all of this stuff.
God. What are you planning to do with these worms, sir?
Yeah.
I'd love to know more about this guy, this director, because he seems like he's more of an actor. He only directed this and one other film.
Yeah, did you read up on that?
Not much, but he's in a bunch of other Ted V. Mikels films.
Right.
But I didn't recognize him. I've never seen him before.
Apparently, the only other stuff the one he's directed is called The Brain Sucker.
Yeah, that sounded kind of fun. As
Yeah,
well.
and I just read the description, and apparently it's about a psycho killer who uses a corkscrew to stick into people's brains.
Yeah, I read that. Sounds fun, but it's probably shit.
Oh, it most definitely is shit, but could be good. So, on the old wrongometer, how did you get on with Worm Eaters, Dave? Did you love it?
Well, the wrongometer, this is not about the quality of the film. So we're rating how wrong this film is. I like to think of it as how this film, like, how little it should exist. Does that make sense? Yeah. This film shouldn't exist. It's fucked. You know what? This is actually... I've been thinking about this before. What would I give this one? Because it's obviously a light, stupid comedy. It's not, like, traumatic in any sense of, like, story or anything like that. But it did sicken me much more than anything else we've watched.
Oh.
And those close-ups of the mouths with ice cream pouring out and worms flipping about made me absolutely sick. So I'm actually going to go 9.
Hey,
And the music as well is absolutely fucked.
Yeah.
I'm close to a 10, but I'll go 9.
Saving the 10s for something a bit more spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. I think a 9 is on point for this. I think the fact that it builds itself as a comedy as well, it's not a horror film. It says, like, Worm Eaters, a comedy or something in it. So you got those the stupid fucking dialogue that's supposed to be funny. It's not funny. You got those dumb Benny Hill type scenes. And the worm eating, you got the body horror aspects, people actually turning into worms. There's no blood in this.
No.
That's probably worth mentioning. There's no blood or gore or anything. But the uncomfortableness that is just like so deeply weaved into this film, I think a 9 is a pretty good mark.
This would be a great film to, really fuck with someone, you know, like just like, oh, let's check out this film, it's gonna be great, and just like ruin a friendship.
Yeah, I never want to watch this again. This is the second time I've seen it, and I can't do it.
There is no way I will watch this again. Yeah, definitely the worst film you've ever covered. Except maybe next week.
Oh, all right, that's it. What are we doing next week?
I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on next week's film.
Right.
Next week's film, I actually had to think carefully about whether I wanted to do it, because it is one of the most fucked things.
Okay.
That it's not so much the film itself. We'll get into it next week. But the film next week is Duck! Exclamation mark.
Right.
The Carbine High Massacre.
Oh. Wow. Okay.
Do you know much about it?
Is it like a recreation with ducks?
Not quite. No, duck more like physically duck.
Get down duck.
So that is next week. And I don't know, my guess is that you're gonna hate it.
Cool.
But I'm not sure.
All right.
I don't even know what I think of this film. But yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about it.
I am not. So yeah. All right.
So for the last however many episodes, I can't remember what episode number this is, but every time we record, we forget to mention the Twitter.
That's right.
But now we've finally remembered.
We have one of them.
Yes. So if you would like to follow us on Twitter, that would be bloody great. Our Twitter is SMSW Podcast. So please follow us on Twitter. And you can, if you hate Twitter, which is fair enough, you could also also shoot us an email. Our email is showmesomethingwrong@gmail.com.
Cool. We have one of them.
Yeah,
Didn't
we
know.
do.
Good stuff.
I'll give you the login after this.
All right. Follow us there.
Yeah. Should just keep it recording and I'll just tell you the password over the podcast.
No hot dogs. Got menu on a bologna sandwich costs $1.